Welcome back. In this video tutorial, I'll show you how you can configure your networking. So we've got the local area network with a subnet of 10.20.20.0/24. Within that subnet, I have two hosts. The first host is a management station. In this case, I'll be using an Apple Macintosh. The management station will get an IP of 10.20.20.10. Then I've got the Microsoft Server 2016 that will act as an Active Directory controller. That server will get an IP of 10.20.20.240. And both machines will have a default gateway of 10.20.20.99. That is the IP of the firewall. Then I've got the DMZ. Within the DMZ, I've got one Linux server that will get an IP address of 172.20.20.250, and its default gateway is going to point to the firewall, which is 172.20.20.99. And finally, I've got the wide area network with a subnet of 192.168.20.0/24. And within that subnet, I have two hosts. So the first host is a Windows 10 client. So the Windows 10 client will get an IP of 192.168.20.10. And then we got the Linux client that will get an IP of .20. Both hosts will have a default gateway that will point to the IP address of the firewall. That is 192.168.20.99. So the firewall itself will have three network interface cards. So the first network interface card, as evident in the previous video, belongs to the local area network. So we will have to assign a static IP of 10.20.20.99. And then the second network interface card that belongs to the DMZ will have an IP address of 172.20.20.99. And finally, the third network interface card, which will belong to the wide area network, will have an IP of 192.168.20.99. We'll configure the firewall with a default gateway of 192.168.20.2. That default gateway actually is the IP address of the NAT gateway. Back on VMware console, I've got my hosts pre-installed. So I'll start with the first one, which is Windows 10 on top there. Then I change the adapter. So the Windows 10 client must belong to the WAN. And then I come back to Linux server. The Linux server must belong to DMZ, as you can see here. Then I've got the Linux client. The Linux client must belong to WAN, which is correct. Then I've got an Apple Macintosh, which is my management station. It must belong to the local area network, like that. And then of course, I've got the firewall, which has three network interface cards and are correctly configured here, and assign a static IP to the firewall. So I'll press enter. I'll press enter again, and then I'll select the network interface card, which is the first one, because I need to configure my local area network with a static IP. So I'll press enter again. Then I change from DHCP to static. And I will have to scroll down, then change the IP from 128 to 99. So it's going to be 10.20.20.99. The subnet is okay. And the gateway, it's going to be the default gateway. So it's going to be the 192.168.20.2. Then I'll press F8 to apply. Back on Macintosh, I'll just have to log in and set the right IP address. So I'll go to System Preference, then go to Network, then change from DHCP to manual. Then my manual IP address to this machine will be 10.20.20.10, and the subnet looks okay. So the router is our default gateway. So the default gateway for this machine will point to the firewall. So it's going to be 10.20.20.99. Then I'll click apply. From the management station, I'll start a web browser and navigate to the IP address of the firewall. So that will be HTTPS, and the IP address is going to be 10.20.20.99, and the port number is 4081/admin. Okay, and then it will complain about certificate. It's okay because the certificate was self-signed. So I'll click advance and then proceed. Okay, so when you log in for the first time, it's going to ask you to reset the password. So I'll reset my password. That is the admin password, by the way. Okay, then I can uncheck that because I don't need it. Then I'll click finish. Okay, now I can log in for the first time. So the username is admin and put my secure password. Okay, so once you log in for the first time, you'll be directed to the main dashboard. As you can see, this firewall has got a lot of modules.